Welcome to Unimaginable Wellness, the podcast for founders, entrepreneurs, and creators who are now moms. You are running on all cylinders and you don't want to slow down. You also simply can't afford to stay knocked down by anxiety, overwhelm, depression, exhaustion, burnout, or diaper blowouts. So here's the good news. Motherhood came bearing gifts. You now have access to the explosive superpower of your imagination. It can help you avoid, navigate, and get through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, motherhood, and life. I'm your host, Melissa Lorena, a mom to 3 high-energy boys and entrepreneur since 2011. Today, you're going to learn how to use and stretch your imagination and some other new mom capabilities you've earned. So get ready to pick up practical tools and lessons you can tailor to your life from the most dynamic humans in the world operating at the fringes of their imagination. Sounds good? Then keep listening. Today on Unimaginable Wellness for Mom Founders, meet Zibby Owens. She wears lots of hats, just like the central character of her best-selling book, Blank, Pippa Jones. Now, Zibby is the award-winning podcast host of Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books, the founder and CEO of Zibby Media, which includes the publishing house Zibby Books, a book club, retreats, classes, and events, and is the proud owner of Zibby's Bookshop, an independent bookstore in Santa Monica. Her previous books include Bookends, a memoir of love, loss, and literature, children's book, Princess Charming, and 2 anthologies that she edited. Now, Zibby is a frequent contributor to Good Morning America, Katie Couric Media, and other outlets. She is most of all the mother of 4 fabulous kids ages 9 to 16 and wife to Kyle Owens, founder of Morning Moon Productions. Follow her on Instagram and Substack, where she tells it like it is. Enjoy a snippet of our conversation. The full episode can be found on Unimaginable Wellness, on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere else you enjoy your favorite podcasts. Fact and fiction are so blurry right now. And I was reading Blank and I couldn't help but think, like, does Zibby have like a secret Instagram where she's like going to open houses? So what's the secret there? What's fact? What's fiction? And I loved the book. It was very unexpected.
Thank you. Yeah, I love going to open houses. I have gone to 8 million open houses. I always like pull the car over and pop in. It's something like the kids are like, I'll be like, open house. And they'll be like, no. Um, so I just love doing that. I love design. I love just seeing how people live their lives too. Like, I don't know, the fact that like people just open up their homes, it's amazing. So I do not have a secret Instagram account, but I do love open houses. So that part is absolutely true.
That part, and then there were so many other moments in the book, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but there were so many moments that I was like, yep, that visual, I know it, I've seen it. Like, let's just talk about, for example, one, like the Benihana onion volcano. Like when you said that, or, when I heard it in the book, because I had the audio version, I was like, yep, I know what that looks like. I know those volcanoes. And it's like one of those mom moments, like, should we get like a fire extinguisher kind of a thing? But where did you pull out these different sort of like visuals that were like so quote unquote gettable?
Um, I mean, that's my life as a mom. Like I mean, I am doing all these things. I am in it. Like I have 4 kids. Like this is my life and it has been for a very long time. So I'm just putting in all the things. They just come out. Like I wasn't like, oh, I need to be sure to put the Benihana image in. In fact, I barely even remember where that is, but um it's just like I've seen that so many times and I could fill endless books with just the kid stuff. So I think that's I've noticed as I write fiction, um which is new for me. I mean, this type of process, uh, I things are coming out that I don't even know. I mean, I'm writing my next book now, and I have this huge outline. So I really just have to like put the words in. Like I've already figured out the whole story, and I actually made it kind of a little less fun for myself, I think, because I already know everything, and now I just have to like write it and make it fun. But um, anyway, uh, I started writing it with this detailed outline, and like I wrote 10,000 words about something totally not even in the outline. Like, where is this going? But it's like I invented this whole backstory. Point is, like, my subconscious kind of takes over, I think, or whatever happens. But fiction is something I don't totally understand how I'm doing it. Um, but I know that it's like a mishmash of all these things that are in my brain, like the endless trips to Benihana, and like, the fact that my daughter's Hydro Flask like never fits in the car, and like they push me out of the way to like get to the radio thing, and I'm like always about to get crash my car. Like all those things are just my life. That's just my day-to-day life. So, and I know I don't always post that stuff like on social media and in my newsletters. Like I'm very intentional about not including my kids and things that are too specific to them. But that is my life. I mean, I post the glamorous parts, and I mean, I hope I post like enough real stuff that people know, but I don't want to reveal personal things about the kids. So anyway, all to say, yes, I've been there many times.
You have like best customer at a Benihana, right? So it's yeah, totally like okay, it was just hilarious to me like when that mention happened because I was just like taken there immediately and then wanting teriyaki chicken. But anyway, that withstanding.
You're actually making me hungry right now.
I
Maybe.
know it's early, but like I could have a teriyaki right now. So this this is something that I find really common with so many women that have been either out of the workplace or they're like starting brand new. Like you just mentioned these tiny, regular, banal moments of motherhood, and what you managed to do, my interpretation of it is make it into a story, make it
Mm.
into something that matters to a reader and like engage the reader. Like why is it that in your situation, I assume like that that's enough for a story, enough to engage a reader, and I found so many other moms are like, but I have nothing to write about. And you could write a whole like, 10,000 word thing about that.
Well, I think it's how much we value those stories. I think a lot of moms don't put worth into what they're learning, but we're learning lots of things every day as parents. I mean, I learned more from being a mom than through all my education, and I've gone to lots of schools and da da da, but it's an on the job, constant learning, constant changing, like full body experience. And no one can tell you how to do it, and you can't study for it. And in that way, it's like a nightmare, right? You have to just, it's the most important thing in the world. And, for people who like to prepare, there's not that much you can do that will actually help, right? Until you get to know what you have, what you're dealing with. The sleep books, do they work? I don't know. I mean, I've read a lot of them. Did they help me? Not so much. So I think that as we are dealing with our kids and learning and ingesting information, it's it's information that others are ingesting in an equally unsure point of their lives. And by reflecting it back, I think we're reminding each other that none of us are in it alone, even though it can feel very isolating. I mean, a night at home, my kids are older now, like my youngest is now 9, but like the tantrum not ending at home at bedtime. I mean, you know, so I have felt like, well, is this ever going to end? Will this kid ever stop crying? Or will this child ever fall asleep? Or
Mhm.
how am I ever going to get out of this situation? And there's nobody to call. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't. So, anyway, it can feel very uh, lonely and isolating and terrifying. But really, so many of us are going through similar things. So, as long as we share it, it makes it and add some humor to it, I think it will help get through those day-to-day moments that can feel really difficult.
I I agree. And I also think about my kids almost like imagination experts in residence. It's
Mm,
like they help me imagine how a situation can be more fun. They
hmm
help me imagine how I can like lighten up. Mom,
hmm
I've heard that
hmm
before. Like they really do help me navigate the stuff that is impossible to just kind of navigate with just my, thinking rational brain,
Yes.
right? Because
Yep.
things don't always make sense. I don't know about you. I know you went to HBS. I went to Tuck. We have our MBAs. And I can't say that, doing a Zap on Zapier was something we learned in our relative business schools. I'm just saying, right?
Do
But
you
we
know how to do zaps on
I know
Zapier?
I'm a zapper. Yeah, I
You
zap.
are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we zap. We zap. We zap a lot. I get my emails with all my little zaps, and this is how Zapier saved me time, right? So yeah, I'm happy to go in there and like help you zap stuff.
Yeah, I might need that after this call.
For sure, for sure. But like this is not what we were taught like in business school. It was more
Right.
about like how to plug into an organization and how to lead and how to like, look at P&Ls and stuff. And granted,
hmm
of course we have our respective P&Ls, but I'm just wondering like what would you say is the most valuable thing that you've learned as an entrepreneur, like doing it here in your space that you think should be
hmm
taught in a business school?
That's a great question. Because yes, I did take these things in business school and they help me? Right, exactly. Like, I mean, honestly, I think they should teach you that you can watch a quick YouTube tutorial about literally anything and teach yourself how to do it. That is how I started a podcast. I was like, Google, how to start a podcast. How do I I watch videos all the time. Like we got locked out of the car the other day and everyone's like, "What should we do?" And I was like, "I'm sure there's a YouTube video about this." And like there was. So, um I think it's knowing that like there are so many experts in so many things that anything you want to do, there is a guide. And now it's easier than ever to take people's advice and have them teach you. I think being open to learning and innovating, and this is something we learned, is the ability to sort of shift gears and be pay attention to market trends and da da da. Yeah. Like we learned that. But I feel like my cases in business school were like operational challenges and the like the cranberry manufacturing, and like I was like, what? And like then in like our one conversation, or one class, it was called leadership, about like all the ways that people led wrong, and so I think about that, but I'm also like, I don't want to ever lead as the professional only version of myself. Like I've decided that the best way to lead is just to use myself, even if it's my mom's skills,
Hmm.
in the workplace. Like I feel like I lead as a mom, and I feel like it has only made me a better leader, and they don't talk about that at business school at all. There is something about like taking care of people and gathering people and the softer skills or moments. Like with my company, I decided like 3 days a week we all like take a break and go and have a nice lunch together. Like every week. That's what we do. It's part of our culture. It's just like what we do. And I have them to my home and we sit around my dining room table and have lunch. And it's so nice. And it's like I want to take care of them. I want to treat my teammates like
Mhm.
my most important dinner guests, because that's what they are. They are so important. And why would you treat an employee any differently than that? Like if you don't want to have them, if you don't feel like they deserve that, they probably then should not be working for you. Do you know what I mean? So, um, and leaving, like I leave every day at 2:30 and go pick up my kids. And I get it all done the rest of the day, but like, do I need to be in the office? So I just think there are so many things we could have learned about. There are ways to make it work, and um, finding flexible environments, and um, leading by example, and you know making it work. And then I guess just always, like, I think that leading a business is like raising a kid, in that as soon as you feel like you have it down, everything changes, right? I got it. And now suddenly they're a year older and I don't know what I'm doing again. And none of the clothes fit. Like, I have to start again. Are you kidding me? And that's what it's like in business. Like, things are constantly changing. Oh, okay, maybe it's an external change that's impacting the organization. Maybe it's an internal growth change,
Mm.
but we have to be ready to like run to the gap and get new clothes.
It's so funny. I was just telling a client yesterday that using your imagination is like the perfect change management tool.
Mm,
Like, I mean, so many people that have businesses are able to just go from one thing to another quite quickly.
yep,
Just really edit, change, refocus,
yep.
and then not feel like kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like for me, I would kind of feel like, man, I did it wrong, embarrassed, like I was
Hmm,
going
hmm,
this way and now I'm like no longer doing this thing. What are people gonna think?
hmm,
And so I think that's something else that stops you. And the same could be said when you're at a Target and your kids have a meltdown and you have a choice. Be the mom that you intended to be in front of other people or care what they think and then be that another kind of mom. It's
hmm,
the parallels are striking between motherhood and entrepreneurship for sure. So
hmm.
on that point, I'm just curious, like, can we name the superpower that you got from being a mom that you apply in business? What would you name that superpower?
Being humble.
100%.
The superpower is the ability to constantly learn and change, honestly. I mean, you have to constantly adapt to changing conditions as a mom. So, adaptability, um, yeah, I think constantly being able to regroup, to do lots of things at once, and to deal with things that are ultimately out of your control, even when you care.
Yeah, and that's when it's like the hardest, right? It's like when
Mhm.
it's your heart, when it's your name, when it's,
Yep.
the Zibby verse, right? It's different than if it were this third party entity. And I think we can close the conversation there because I think right now a lot of listeners are probably wondering to themselves like, holy cow, maybe there is value in my like super regular mom life moments.
Oh
Maybe
my
I
God.
could write a story,
So
right?
much value. So much value.
So much value. And I think now the onus might be on people that have these like MBAs and things to put that value in like an income statement, like goodwill at least, right? Like just
Yeah.
like find a place to demonstrate that, if we use the success markers of the world, like finances and money and all that, like how can we translate that to like real income, financial, security for moms? I mean, I think
Yep.
the value is so clear. And so my hope, my intention is through your story, Zibby, through this conversation, that anyone listening feels like, you know what? Heck yeah, I matter. I matter. And I think that's so true. Thank you so, so much, Zibby. This was amazing. Where can people buy your book, Blank?
Yes, please buy blank. You can buy it literally anywhere. Go to your local independent bookstore, order it online. My website is zibbyowens.com. There are links to lots of places to buy it there. You can get a signed copy at Zibby's Bookshop through my website. You can get it, I don't know, wherever you get books, or you can listen, or you can read it on Kindle, or whatever. And you can follow me on Instagram at Zibby Owens or my Substack, zibbyowens.substack.com. And, I tell it like it is.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Zibby.
Thank you.
Thank you to listening to this snippet. I wanted to just say that we got an incredible book shot between Zibby and myself, and I wanted to just find an opportunity to share it with you right here. So I hope you enjoy the cheesy smile that I have and Zibby's wonderful smile with her book, because honestly, two moms did make time to write books. Thank you and stay tuned. Episodes drop every single Tuesday. Again, find Unimaginable Wellness on every single platform where you already enjoy your favorite podcasts.